So welcome back guys to We Talk Boxing, and today I'm going to be talking about the massive fight which is taking place this weekend between Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. Now, in terms of introductions, in terms of me letting you guys know what these guys have done, who they are, etc., what belts they've got, all like hardcore boxing fans and people that are not as hardcore will know who these two are. Both of these guys are number one and number two in their division, the light heavyweight division. And depending on who you speak to, will determine who they perceive to be the better of the two. But what we do have this weekend is a chance or an opportunity to put that argument to bed, because both guys are going up against each other. You have Beterbiev, who is 20-0, and you've got Bivol, who is 23-0. Now, both of these guys, in terms of knockout power, got good knockout power, and you know what I mean, very good in terms of durability as well. Bivol, as I said a second ago, he's got 23 wins, 12 KOs to his name. So again, his KO percentage isn't nothing like what Beterbiev is, because Beterbiev is immaculate. You know what I mean? He's 20 fights, 20 KOs. You can't get much better than that. But one thing that is could be a factor in this fight, and that could maybe be father time. Like, is this, you know what I mean, maybe one fight too many? You know what I mean? Is the younger man maybe gonna probably get the slightly the better edge of his opponent in this fight? Or could, you know what I mean, father time not be ready? Because we kind of thought that in his last fight against Anthony Yard, where, sorry, Callum Smith. Well, not Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard was before that. Callum Smith, where he obviously came in and absolutely done a number on Callum Smith. And Callum Smith is by far the bigger man in terms of stature-wise as well. And he just mashed him up, destroyed him, to be fair, and that was Beterbiev. But now, as I said a second ago, he is fighting someone who is better than Bivol, better than Yard, and you know what I mean? And he's up there in terms of in the pound per pound rankings. He's 33 years of age, and that's Dmitry Bivol. He's 6 foot and 72-inch reach, according to BoxRec as well. But yeah, in terms of Bivol, his most notable fight to date is against Saul Canelo Alvarez, where he fought him back in 2022. I think it was May time. That fight went a distance. Obviously, he won unanimously. But it was close on the scorecards, depending on who you kind of speak to. But he outboxed him, basically. That's what he did. And if Canelo Alvarez was a bigger man, or carried a little bit more oomph in his punching power, you know what I mean? Let's say he was a natural 175 pounder, then maybe he would have actually have asked Dmitry Bivol a lot more questions, because from when I was watching it, just my subjective opinion, I felt that the bigger punches were coming from Canelo Alvarez, but he just didn't have enough on him to kind of stop Dmitry Bivol in his tracks, because he just kept boxing and boxing and boxing. He boxed the head off Canelo Alvarez. After that fight, Bivol did fight against Gilberto Ramirez, who at the time was a champion. Was he a champion? I think he was a champion. But anyway, he was regarded as one of the opponents in the division to obviously to try and fight against, and he went a unanimous decision with him. But absolutely, the scorecards are very wide in that fight. But apart from that, he hasn't really fought anyone else of good stature. He's fought a few Brits, Craig Richard and obviously Lyndon Arthur. Obviously done what he had to do with those guys. But yeah, not. I'd probably say, if you're looking at records wise or who they've been in there with, I'd say Beterbiev's resume is a lot better. He's been in there with the who's who in terms of the light heavyweight um, opponents out there. As I said earlier, Callum Smith, Anthony Yard, Joe Smith Jr., Marcus Brown at the time, he was very, very good. He's been in there with I can't pronounce his name, Alexander Gosvegt, yes. He was very tough dual ball opponent back in the days as well. He had that tough fight with Callum Johnson, Johnson dropped him twice in rounds 1 and 4 before Beterbiev finally knocked out Callum Johnson as well, which was most would probably say it was his toughest opponent to date, because obviously got dropped twice in the fight. He's been in there with, back in the days, Tavares Cloud as well. Probably not a lot of you guys would know who he is, but yeah, back in the days he was good. But obviously that's more towards the end of his career. Tavares Cloud as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a brilliant and exciting fight. It's going to be one of them fights that hopefully we could maybe look back and be like, wow, that was something, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because both of these guys are going into this fight, with full confidence, fully motivated, and I want to try and get the better over each other. Now, in terms of Bivol, they know each other because they was in the same Russian team or whatever it was together. And obviously at the time, Beterbiev was classed as like a senior, and obviously Bivol was a junior. I'm guessing they must have sparred, and Bivol probably looked up to him, and you know what I mean, probably thought one day, you know what I mean, I want to be where you are, and now he's got this opportunity to, you know what I mean, to say I'm not that little kid anymore. You know what I mean, I'm gonna stick it on you. I'm gonna ask you some questions. And in terms of boxing ability, I fully believe that that's what we're gonna see in this fight. Dmitry Bivol is going to ask Beterbiev a lot of questions. He's going to get, for me, Beterbiev is going to get his head boxed off him. But one thing Beterbiev will do is keep coming forward, and he will cut down that ring until he could get to his opponent, and that's Dmitry Bivol. He will get to Dmitry Bivol at some point. But for me, it's whether or not Dmitry Bivol can take the power shots that are coming back at him, whilst keeping that composure and that confidence and focusedness to keep boxing the way that he's going to be boxing. And you never know, he could maybe cause so much damage that he stops Beterbiev. But I think for me, my prediction, I'm going to go with a Dmitry Bivol, a Beterbiev victory. Couldn't get my words out there, but yeah, I believe that Beterbiev's gonna probably get a late stoppage or knockout. I can't see this one going the distance, and it's mainly because it's a fight. It's 12 rounds. At some point, Bivol's gonna get tested, and for me, no one's actually tested Bivol's chin yet. So this is gonna be the check. You know what I mean? And if Bivol, can actually take what's coming back at him, then he could go on and win the fight. But if he can't take what's coming back at him, then it's going to be a tough night, and he potentially will end up getting stopped or getting knocked out. That's my thoughts. I'm looking forward to it, and you guys are as well. And I will do maybe a couple of days after, probably do my post-fight review, just to give you my thoughts and that as well in regards to the fight. But yeah, certainly believe it's going to be one of them fights really that we hopefully going to look back at and be like, wow, that was something. And if it is like that, then potentially we could see a rematch as well, maybe early next year, maybe April, May, something like that, if both guys can stay fit. But that's my thoughts. You guys can let me know your thoughts. How do you see this going? And who do you consider the favourite in this fight? And what method of victory? Is it going to go points? Is it going to be a referee stoppage? Or is it going to be a knockout? Let me know your thoughts. And as always, please subscribe and comment. Bless.